Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. Is this the first show of the year? No, Monday was the first show. But Happy New Year anyway. As you guys know, like I said, we're making connections. We're here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. And today I'm excited to introduce you to a man who's doing a lot in the community. I see his face, but it's true. I was going over the website and stuff, and I mean, you guys are really doing it. So, Chester, how are you today?
I am doing well. Thank you, Ali, and Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you. Well, this is what we do since this is your first time being on here. I just want to give you an opportunity to greet our listeners and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Chester B. Williams, as Ali said. I am the founder of ABC2, which is located in Halifax County in northeastern North Carolina. Born and raised there, went away to school at North Carolina A&T, and then went to graduate school at Indiana University. And then after being there for a while, came back in 2012 to do what I do. I really love people. I love community. And I'm just glad to be in this space today to be with you, Ali, and with your people and with the family.
The family, that's it right there. And so I'm going to jump into this because, like I said, it's a lot of good stuff that's happening. And I want to make sure we talk about as much as we can today. Um, but Chester ABC2, first of all, what does that stand for?
Ah, well,
I'll just tell them, but behind the scenes, before we got started, we was talking about is it the Jackson Five? So,
easy as one, two. But really, ABC2 stands for a better chance, a better community. Just a quick saying that came to me as a vision when I was in the eighth grade. I
mm,
wrote a journal as in terms of the change I wish to see in my community, and I felt that if you give the community a chance, it
mm,
can better itself. The community, we know ourselves, we know our assets, we know our strengths. So who knew that that eighth grader has so much vision and foresight
mm.
uh, that it will be something that's phenomenal in communities now to make that positive change, which is really attached to our mission. That we do believe that if you have a better chance, you can have a better community.
Well, that is, I like that. A better chance, a better community. And so let's just dive into that a little bit more. So, really, though, I mean, you hear things, but let's dive into what that means. If we have a better chance, our communities will be better. What does that mean? Like, what's a better chance?
A better chance is really taking a step back, and it could be people, it could be the different assets in your community, but really coming together and realize what you have. And we do that. We are resilient people. So we already do that, but making it strategic and really doing it intentional to know what you have in your community to make realistic change, positive change in your community. Because the best asset that we do have is human capital. And then once you do that, you realize what your real gaps are. And then you can go after those resources to make it happen. But sometimes when you do that asset building in your community, you would know and find that there are resources that already exist there. So in ABC2, that's what we really do. We go into the community, specifically working with young people, because young people are typically a unsought out or underutilized resource in their communities. Uh, they're really insightful. They really are good with decision making and problem solving, because us adults, we live in a box. Young people will knock the walls down and come up with some spectacular ideas, but then also have some realistic steps to do that. So with ABC2, we go into the communities, working with young people, partnering them with adults in their communities, and coming up with realistic, positive programs, events, and changes that are fun, engaging, but yet it takes you to that next level of being conscious about what's going on in your community.
Wow. Yeah, you said a whole lot right there. And you're right. I wonder what sometimes what happens to us as adults. When we're kids, we're just like, you know, the sky truly is beyond the sky is the limit. Our thoughts, our ideas, our visions. I wonder what happens to us when we get older.
I think we're trained that you have to do it the right way and not understand
Mm,
right way can be so many different things and look in so many different ways. But I think stepping out of that and being me, I was a little rebel. So I kind of bring that spirit when starting this organization.
Aha.
All ideas and not close them out. And then how can we shift those to align with what community needs?
Mm. But I do like what you're saying because, let's just, we're not really going to dive into that situation, but let's just touch base about what happened this week at the Capitol.
Yeah.
If we're not talking to one another, if we're not communicating, then nothing is going to take place. No change is going to come, and the change that I hear you talking about is let's work together. Let's not fight against one another. Let's not try to bully somebody into thinking the way we think, but let's really see what we have in our hands and what we can do in our communities and in our states. Because when the community builds and gets stronger, that makes your city stronger, your state stronger, and so on and so forth.
And I'm glad you talked about communication. That's one thing I preach to the world changers, which are the young people in the program, ages 10 to 24, about communicating. But I add another word before. You got to communicate honestly, open. And I think that you brought up the situation that just happened this couple of days ago, which was
Mind blowing.
it was mind blowing, but also necessary.
Yeah.
And I truly think after all we've been through in 2020, I am glad that this and even it reflects realities of America, but it put it on an international platform where we have to face it and have honest, open conversation. Because as we say in our community, when you're tired of being tired and when you're fed up, change will happen, right?
Right.
Has become fed up with who it has been and hiding from. And now we have to face those, and people are facing their hard truths of what they have lived, or I call it false reality.
Mm.
But we look at it as white supremacy. That your white supremacy came from disgrace. Your white supremacy, us being treated different, black brown folks being treated different. But in ABC2, we open up the table to allow those people of those thoughts to be at the table to get care, because we have inherited all people from.
Mm. Now, Chester, some of that is I didn't hear. You're going in and out a little bit. And I know you're saying some good stuff, so I want the people to hear what you're saying.
So I said ABC2, we create a table where everyone is welcome. So we welcome all different types of ideas, whether I personally like them or not, because all voices need to be at the table to speak honestly, because we are dealing with issues that we inherited from our ancestors.
Right.
So for some of us, it's traumatizing because we have inherited the pain. But
Right.
others, they have inherited false pretense, and they're now waking up and understanding that, oh, I inherited something that I really wasn't entitled to.
Right. True.
So letting go is hard, but also owning that, okay, I'm here. I don't want you to apologize for your ancestors. I just want you to realize that we're in a position where we can change the narrative moving forward.
That part. That part. Bring your voice, bring your ideas, bring yourself, your presence
Yes.
to the table, and let's figure out how we can make a better community.
Yes, because honestly, what happened at the Capitol, let it been me or you. Okay, but a whole different story.
No show today.
So that's the narrative we need to change.
Right.
Happen to me should happen to you too, and the crime and the punishment should be the same.
Right. And that's the thing, I like about your program. You have like you said, different people, and you include the young people, older people. It's all about, and I heard you say that you um what's the word I'm trying to use? You take a young person and put them with a person from the community.
Mhm.
So, I think that means everybody working together because, us old heads, sometimes we just we think it should go this way, get you a good job and da, da, da. But now the young people being like, these jobs ain't paying. What y'all mean? I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And
And,
so we have to think out of the box.
yes.
What does it take right now?
Absolutely. And that's the foundation of ABC2, being able to work together. We have 4 focus areas, which is healthy eating, active living, civic engagement, and entrepreneurship, because all of those things are very vital to a community, but also very vital to the person. Eating, active living is because we got to live well. We have to live and eat well in order to do this work, to be able
So,
to show up. So if you're not healthy, and from experience, I have not made the healthiest choices in my life. But now, as a leader, I have to make sure that I do that, because I cannot reflect being a strong leader in the boardroom or in the work field, but yet behind the scene, I'm dealing and dealing with diabetes, or I'm dealing with chronic illness because I choose not to eat well or eat healthy. That's a practice that we have to show in this work also. So we have a 2-acre community farm where we grow.
okay.
And if you see outside at the farm, it say we just don't grow food. We grow people, and we grow prosperity and community, because we believe that's what we do. And it's all important. And everything we position back to food and also music, because that's our theme in every culture. Food and music is at the core of it.
Yeah.
Use that as a piece to be able to bring together, to have conversation. We do it through our work. We pay homage to our ancestors. We pay homage to the elders in our community to make sure that we're passing on from whence we come. Because they say if you don't know from whence you come, you do not know where you're going. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's where the divide happened, is because um, our generation and other generations just want to jump and solve, but don't understand the history that it took to get there. Um,
Right.
that's a whole skill within itself to understand the history of something. And then you understand how to navigate what this thing we call systems that come to play. The
Mm.
systems are created to cause confusion, to divide us. So in ABC2, we're breaking it down to teach young people, in a very informal way, how to look at realistic solutions, but do not make it formal. How do
Mm.
you begin to peel back the layers and see the historical context, the foundation of these issues? And how do you begin to chip away? Is it a conversation? Is it watching a documentary? Is it doing some racial um, bias implications or racial trainings in our community? Or is it about partying at the polls on the elections to really motivate people to come to the polls to vote with
Right.
their families? Because we have been trained that voting is something we really don't do. It's intimidating. People going to kill us for. Why are they killing us for it? Why they don't want us to vote? Because it's a powerful tool that's so easy to do. So if
Right.
I get you to come vote, why can't you bring your children to the polling site with you, or your grandchildren, to make it a part of your culture or your family cycle, that when it's election day you show up, because my grandmother did it, because my daddy did it, because that's powerful in our community. If somebody in our family we love and connect with do it, we're gonna follow and model that too.
Right. And that it truly is. I kept saying this vote is your voice.
Hmm.
You know, and a lot of times I used to hear, well, I'm just one vote. My vote ain't going to matter. But if one person in this community says it, two people on this street say it, five people over here in this neighborhood say it, it starts being a difference.
Hmm.
So that same absence that we've seen, now we've got to make that big presence
Yes.
because we care about our community. We care about our children and those grandchildren you were talking about. We want them to have a better future than what we've had. We don't want them to have to deal with some of the things that we've had to deal with, but if they do, we want them to have a good mindset about it. We want them to be able to think objectively and to be able to make a difference by running for office themselves, by writing letters that make sense. I mean, we have to do it a different way sometimes.
That's right. Hey, from a moment to a movement.
Yep, that's it.
And whew, mm. I like this. But yeah, ABC2 is where it's at. Our young people, and we focus on young people specifically. And I say I'm proud of them all because everything that exists in ABC2, I was just the visionary that brought it to fruition. But the young people who have come to ABC2 and the volunteers is the ones who really birthed it into what it is today. When you look at the website and the app that was created by a senior at UNCG,
What?
Dylan Dotson, a young person,
Yes.
created an app that really captured the essence of the organization and the work that we do and translating it forward. When you think about, I think about Kentwan Williams, who just celebrated his 17th birthday yesterday, who is autistic, but also has experienced bullying in school, created a program called Goose to be able to address bullying, but not just bullying, the isms that he sexism, ableism, all those things. Actually created a webinar and did a webinar at 17, doing a webinar talking about these injustices that he seen in his communities, and took the pain that he experienced by being bullied and turned it into something positive to educate people. How do we begin to address and change these patterns in our communities? To talk about how do we get anti-bully policies in our schools, because they're not there. Because typically, by the time a bullying situation escalates, it's when the person who has been bullied retaliates because they fed up and
Right.
it too.
Right.
So those are the things that we do in ABC2 to uplift young people, because these are the things that they're thinking about, because they experience community just like you and I as adults. So they're thinking about it, they're having these conversations. They just don't have an outlet to be able to share or have the support and the skills to make those things a reality, because I could have never come up with none of those things. I can't create a website and an app. I could try, but I would not give what
It
these.
wouldn't look like that one.
And that's powerful. And that's what ABC2 want to do across the world. That's why we say we're going global, because I want to touch every young person across this world to give them a platform to be able to have their voices heard and be a part of this movement, because we got to sustain the change.
Mm-hmm. And you're just saying so many things, so many nuggets I want to just tap into. I mean, but again, with the youth, I mean, the Bible says serve the Lord in your youth. You know what I'm saying? But it then talks about the wisdom of the older people. And truly, if you bring all that together, that is so amazing, and so many things can be produced from that. But I'm so glad that we're not in a place where, from my generation, we used to tell the kids to go sit down, stay out of grown folks' business and stuff like that. So I'm so glad that is not the narrative right now. Right now, we're talking to the young people. Hey, what is going on? How can we help? And then, when they are telling us what they're experiencing, then hopefully our wisdom comes in, and maybe the connections we have that can give them the resources and the platform they need to make it known,
Exactly.
and to make a change.
I must say, I have to give it up to the North Carolina Rural Center. I've attended many trainings there, and when we talk about the history of social justice, or we talk about the history of democracy, many of those pivotal moments in history where change had to happen, it was led by young people. Look at the shootings in the schools. The students walked out, and that prompted a whole new series, which prompted to legislation talking about gun laws and things like that. Young people have always been the driving force, but they've never been given the credit or their voices heard. Their voices are silent because they're not to be seen or heard, as we have been raised up in that notion. But that's the same thing we do to that has been done to Black and Brown people. If you can
Yeah.
their voices, then they don't have power. We have to reclaim our power because we already have it. So that's why in our mission statement we say activate your power, because I don't have the power to give to young people. We all each possess a power that God has given to us, our divine purpose. It is up to us as a people to support and nurture that within each other, because it's a piece to the puzzle.
Right, right. And I love this activate the young people, because truly, 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 I mean, again, I'm going to say people in my generation, We stay on jobs that we do not like. We put up with behavior from bosses that we should not have tolerated.
Mm.
And I mean, that's a lot of the breakdown, even in the family, because you go home so frustrated and your family's in need and you can't get the money that you need from this job that you've worked on for 30 years. It's so much frustration. So I am praying that this young generation, they do stand up for what's right and know that this is not the only job. Even if I've said it on the show before, even if you have to move to another state, another city, to get what you need for your family, do that. But a lot of us, we were just taught to, stay close to home, make sure we stay out of trouble. But sometimes, like, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, Mr. John that passed away. We got to get in a good trouble.
Yeah.
We have to make a stand, and we have to know inside of ourselves, which is what the most thing your program is doing, is letting those young people know they are important,
Yes.
they are valuable, and everything that they go through is important to somebody else.
Exactly. We're all connected.
Hmm.
We instill that in our young people. Um, it would carry on. One of the things that, along with that I'm instilling in young people is pride in where they're from, because where you're from is a strong foundation of who you are.
Hmm.
But you do need to go. You need to go travel the world. You need to see the world. And if you are planted to come back home, that's wonderful. That's great. But wherever you are, remember to come back and check in with those young people to let them see what success look like. Because,
Yeah,
but sometimes it's better when it's on a face for someone who look like you, but also someone who has experienced the things that you are experiencing now. That
hmm,
was one of my biggest challenges when I moved back home to start ABC2. Lord have mercy. I went to my I went to my alma mater at Southeast Halifax High School. Shout out to the mighty Trojans. Um, I came back and did alumni career day, and had some excellent, wonderful conversations. But there was a lot of questions about they could not believe that I have come from Southeast. Because in rural communities, and especially in Black and Brown communities, we have our own dialects. We grow up saying I is, you is, and things like that. And we're taught to speak grammatically correct and right. But sometimes it can be a challenge when you grow up in a family that come from sharecropping, and they had no more than a fourth, fifth, or eighth grade education. So that's your reality. That's your norm. I mean, not knocking. We understand each other. We communicate.
exactly.
I have experience and said that I've traveled the world and articulated. And I said, I'm sure I wasn't the only one. I'm sure many other alumni from Southeast have done that. But to be in that setting, they're like, wow, all we know is Black men go to jail
Mm, wow.
or deal drugs in the community. That's the reality we see. But to see
Right.
from here, I can't believe that you walk these halls. So I had to tell the story. Yes, I walk these halls, the snakes in the locker rooms from the creek and all that stuff. Yeah, I know about it. Lockers that halfway don't lock and all that stuff. And then out of that really prompted what ABC2 became, because my first 5 young people was from my alma mater to build something. And they created small square foot gardens at the downtown infield square. It was not called the square then. And what we planted was tomatoes and things like that. And it grew. And people was coming to get tomatoes. The deli was using the tomatoes and the peppers and
Oh
stuff like.
wow.
And then the town adopted it. They put umbrellas and tables out there, and it became the town square. They light up the Christmas tree there now. And that first group of world changers look back like, wow, we sparked that. See what you sparked, and it's community change, and it's still sustaining. And you all created that just with planting food there to feed the community because you wanted to give back to the community. That's what a better chance, a better community. And it didn't cost anyone anything.
Hmm. That is so amazing. That is just who, and the feeling, I can only imagine that they have, like you said, when they look like and be like, whew, we
Yeah.
came out here and tilled this soil when wasn't nothing out here, and now look at it. That has got to give them a great feeling, and even the feeling of what else can we do.
Right. Got another one for you. So this is the one that sticks out to me. So many young people have done amazing things, but this one really stuck out to me, which goes to the core of why I do what I do. It was one young lady, um, in her life. She loved to cook, but because of our community, it was always told that you go to school to become a teacher, you become an accountant, a lawyer, doctor,
Come on.
and there's nothing wrong with those careers, but it's good to check in with you. What are your interests? What are your passions? And turn those things into reality jobs for yourself or become entrepreneurs. So it was a hard time. This young lady wanted to go to school to become a chef. Um, so there was a lot of pushback, but she applied to Johnson and Wales, got accepted into the culinary art school, went there successful. And all I kept doing was pouring encouragement with her and providing her encouragement, resources, and skills to do what she needs to do to be successful. Um, Back in 2018, we did an event at the community farm as part of our grand opening celebration. And we have various food trucks up there. To my surprise, this young lady applied and I brought her food truck from Charlotte and did pineapple bowls. And then when we got there, she walked over to me. We immediately hugged. This was pre-COVID, y'all.
Right.
And we immediately cried because she said it was because of you and ABC2 that I now live my dream.
Mm.
And she said, work. I have fun doing what I love, creating these pineapple bowls in the community. And I had to be here today to give back to the one thing that gave my dream fire.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah. And I didn't think about it over the years and stuff, but in that moment, it solidified the importance of having programs and support like this. I know I'm not the only one out there that's doing this, but it needs to be highlighted more and maximized to other young people that there are adults out there who believe in you and support with you, and that you can dream the highest dreams and they still can be a reality.
Mm. Now that is it right there. And like you said, there are things happening around the communities, but when people don't know, then they're not taking advantage of the resources. They're not getting the education. They're not getting the opportunity. So definitely, that's one reason for this platform. I mean, I can't be in the community everywhere. I can't be where you are and in Georgia, but I have a platform. I want you to come tell us what's happening so that hopefully somebody else in your community will know. Somebody, maybe even somebody from Georgia, will like what you're doing and be like, hey, Chester, I like this. How can I support? What can I do here? I know you're trying to be global. How can we get it started here?
Yes. And Atlanta is one of those things that's bubbling. We have made some contacts and partners there to really bring this to Atlanta, and we want to do that. We're going to bring it to other places throughout the United States. Definitely one of our most promising ones international is in Nigeria. So we're excited about that. And thank you for having a platform like this, because I know myself and others who are on the ground doing this work, it is very challenging to get our stories told.
Right.
So you're making a huge impact, interceding for us to provide this platform to be able to speak our truths, speak our stories, but also to share the highlights of the people that come with us.
Right. I love this. I am so excited because, and the thing about it is, you're not trying to hoard it for just your community. You're not trying to build up and buff up Chester Williams. Oh, I did this for my community. You're like, I want to share this. I want it to impact others. I want to make it global. Because even like you just said, I was the visionary, but I wasn't the only one making it happen. And I think sometimes when people have a vision, they want all the praise. But while you're getting all the praise, your vision is dying.
Right.
So, I applaud you for sharing and giving people opportunities. And so, what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a quick break. We know that this platform, like I said, we have experts that come on first, third, and fourth Mondays. And so, we're going to do a quick commercial, and we'll be right back to hear more about Chester, ABC2, and how we can collaborate. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Allie. And you guys know that we have a show every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12. But guess what? We're also broadening our horizons. We're trying to launch out because we also are Making Connections Network. And so, what do you do when you're called a network but network with others? And so I wanted to come on and introduce you to our expert who is with us every fourth Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I call him a motivational and inspirational coach because if you come on the show, that's what you're going to get motivated, inspiration, and you're going to start feeling encouraged that you can live this life and live it well. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to James Sherman Thompson, also known as JT. Hey there.
Awesome. How you doing, Miss Allie? It's always an honor and a privilege to be on Making Connections. And every fourth Monday, we are impacting and inspiring and having a great time. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing to be, on the airwaves and people being able to hear and see our voices and see us up close and personal and get a little Monday motivation.
Absolutely. And as you can see, he is a part of Big Woo Radio and Elite Life. So you know what? I keep him close so I can ask him questions so he can help me out. I'll be like, okay, I'm a little nervous. What should I do? So again, I can always go to James for inspiration and motivation.
Definitely an honor and a privilege. Yes, Big Woo Radio, co-founder and host on the Big Woo Radio, as well as the host of the Elite Life Show, president of the Elite Gents organization, a nonprofit organization as well. So just continuing to walk in my purpose and trying to impact and inspire others.
Absolutely. So, if you guys want to learn more about James, learn more about, or if you're having a rough day and you just need some encouragement, guess what? Tune in to Making Connections every fourth Monday at 2 p.m. That's every fourth Monday. And I guarantee you, when you get off of the show, or, even if you have to catch it on the replay, because you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and the shows are always listed there. So even if you miss it on fourth Monday, or you want to go back and see some of the shows he's already done, check us out on Facebook. And you can always catch us live fourth Monday at bit.ly/Making Connections TV. That's bit.ly/Making Connections TV. Thank you, James, for being one of our experts. And that's fourth Monday, everybody.
Don't miss it.
Hey, everybody. This is your girl, Allie from Making Connections TV. We're here today and we're talking to, hey there, we're talking to Chester Williams of ABC2. And I'm so excited because I like James' promo. He always says at the end, don't miss it. I like the way he pops that in. So, Chester, just in case somebody's just tuning in, like I said, I want you guys to know we are Making Connections. We're here every Saturday at 12 noon, every Monday at 2 p.m. And our guest today is Chester Williams of ABC2 Inc. He is the founder and CEO, and they are doing some marvelous things. At the end of the production, I'll tag his website so that you can go on and look at what these young people are doing and how they are affecting the community. But Chester, one of the things I wanted to know is when did you, I know you said in the eighth grade, you had that thought, a better community. No, what is a better chance, a better community. So when did you actually activate this program?
Wow. So, so when I moved back from home from Indiana back in the end of 2011 into 2012, I took a teacher position at Greensburg County High School in Emporia, Virginia. Um, And while teaching, I realized the dynamics was a lot different than what they were teaching in Indiana. So, just to say, I didn't have the flexibility to really teach to the child. It was more teaching to the test. So that was very stressful. So I needed something different to do. So going through my things, I found my journal where I actually written out a better chance, a better community. And I spoke with God, and He said, "This is what you're supposed to do." And I was like, "Lord, you have a sense of humor. How can you start a business in a rural community that everybody's called impoverished? Everyone is saying that the economic prosperity here is weak. Also, they say Black communities that we don't support each other." So I stepped out on faith, and I did exactly what God asked me to do.
Mm.
And everything has fallen into place when I listened to Him. Um, I love the Lord. So that's one thing I did. So being obedient to Him, anyone that is a part of the faith, you know that for a fact. So doing that, I didn't never think that it would have grown into what it has today. I have truly been blessed to see what I've put on paper to come to fruition, but to see
Mm.
young people light up in the possibility, to see what was once hopeless become hopeful, because it's like a response to myself and my peers in that 8th grade of that we wanted to be a part of the change but couldn't.
Mm.
And now I feel like we are, because now so many different young people, not just in Halifax County, we have young people from Gifford County, we have young people from Pasquotank County, other counties that are engaged in this work with us. Because I say that communities have no boundaries.
Mm. That's a good statement. Communities have no boundaries. Yes. So, how many young people have you seen come through the program, or do you have any idea?
Yes. So to date, we have touched 327 young people lives.
Come on, that's good.
And we even have World Changers units or chapters at Elizabeth City State University and North Carolina A&T with actual faculty advisors. So we're very proud that we have expanded there, which has kind of prompted the going global, because the interest is there, the need is there. And what that means is that we really want to go into the communities to take our model and replicate working with youth, leading the change, but have adults that learn how or to understand how to partner with young people in leadership. Um, so actually taking our model to community, identifying adults and youth or organizations that are interested, and train them on our model to be able to replicate this. Because what we do here will look differently in other places, because young people interests may be slightly different.
Right.
And they want to arrive to that change may be different. For here, it may be um, a breaking the stigma conference. But over in Atlanta, it may be a teen unity summit.
Right.
But I
And
want,
I like that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I like that because that was one of the things I was thinking. Well, is it okay if they tweak a little bit, in each community because it might be different needs, like you said, one might be dealing with bullying more, one might be dealing with sexual harassment and things like that. So I like the fact that you're open to, hey, what the community needs is what we're gonna do.
right. How many times do we don't like when businesses and corporations come into our communities and tell us what we want?
Right.
They
You know,
tell us we want
we
apples,
do.
and we want oranges.
Right.
And we want to honor the communities, want to honor the young people and their voices. Because we always talk about buy-in, but no, that's when you find your purpose.
Hmm.
You find commitment. That's what you call sustainability. That's what you call pride. And that's what you call shared leadership and shared ownership.
All right. Now, we know through the pandemic, everybody's branching out and, the virtual world. Has this impacted you as well through
I
virtual and your bigger reach?
I would like to say that it has impacted us as it has impacted so much, because it's very unfortunate, but it has amplified us.
Yes, yes.
I mean, not to brag, but when I say going from hopeless to hopeful, also shows how resilient we are as a people. And this model has really helped many communities throughout Eastern North Carolina and across the state. That when the pandemic hit, we thought that it was going to paralyze ABC2.
Mm.
But it actually amplified us, like I said, because we dug into our purpose and became more meaningful and understanding what it means for community change, or what it means for community engagement, what it means for youth power. And we start feeding immediately. In March, we start feeding hot meals, connecting farmers to a local farm to table restaurant to prepare meals to go out into the communities. So we were doing about 400 meals a Saturday. And we chose Saturday because everybody else was doing Monday through Friday. But
Mhm.
people are home on the weekend too.
Come on.
But we could give them produce, but a lot of people don't cook.
Right. Or may not have a
So
place to cook it or keep it.
exactly. And then we start doing produce boxes to give out to those that do cook, or we put recipe cards in there to show them what can you make with this produce that came from local farmers. And then we got a part of the USDA produce box giving, where we was actually giving out those really nice produce boxes that had egg, milk, and stuff. And we was doing three different counties a week,
Good gracious.
over 1,200 boxes at each site. And the conclusion of the program, and we're about to start back up again in January 18th week. We was at the conclusion, we had 356 ton of food that we had distributed during the pandemic.
Good gracious. That is
And
a blessing.
to be able to do that, we thought that we was about to be completely erased off the map on how do we need to do our service. But God said, I will provide.
I was getting ready to say, you said God gave you this idea and you was obedient to him. So it doesn't matter what the pandemic brought, it wasn't going to stop ABC2, because ABC2 was purposed by God. And this is what I want people to understand and to hear. When you have something that God has given you, go for it, do it. He will make a way. It won't be, I mean, the things you're doing now are not all the things you were doing when you started, right? Because you were still learning.
Mm-hmm. I've never been a CEO a day in my life until now.
Yeah, and so the more he's doing it, the longer he's in it, the more connections he's made, the more understanding. And so truly, anybody watching this, whether it's live, the replay, trust and understand God has a purpose for all of us. It's something you can do in your community, in your household, in your family. It's something that makes you special, because God has no respecter of person.
Exactly. I tell my cousins and people I talk to in general that when you like riding the car with your people, you say, you know what? I think they should put a playground over there. You know what? That may be your call, because that thought and idea was given to you to say in that moment. But when
Right.
you're trying to connect with the right people, I mean, you may not have the funds to do it, but if you go to the right places, like to your Parks and Rec department, and say, this community need a park. How can I help support and advocate for that? And boom, you got a park in that community. God gives you the vision and your purpose in ways that sometimes that is not plain in your face. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. It's those things that pop up inside of you that in your gut that this should be done. No, you should be the one to do it, or at least spark it.
And that's right, and I'm even learning that in my old age. The fact that sometimes when I see something or I think about something, I think I have to be the one to fund it, to build it, to no, it's got to come from an idea.
Yeah,
And then you get resources, you reach out to see who's doing this, who can help you, who can sponsor. And so that's a word for somebody, because somebody had a thought
and come
about,
on your show and make those connections. Put it
come
out.
on. Come on and let people know what you want to do. Let people know what you need. And so then that's one thing I'm going to ask you before we get off here. What do you need and how can people collaborate with you? But that point is so true. If you see that, hey, these kids don't have anywhere to play that's safe, then it's a reason you've seen that. Let's get those kids a safe place to play, a safe place to come after school. If you see this community needs a grocery store or a convenience store, they have to travel 20 miles before they can get even a carton of milk. If you see that, start making the phone calls. Like Chester said, you might not have the finances yourself to make it happen, but start making the calls and see what you can get done.
Absolutely. Chills, goosebumps thinking about that.
I
That's how
mean, it's
make it
so much. That's how it can happen. And the fact that, listen, how many tons did you say? Did food?
356 tons.
If we model this in other communities, think about how many other people could have been eating during the pandemic.
Okay.
Honey, there is a need for this type of thing. And I do know there are lots of people who are doing it, but they need help. They need, volunteers. And then there's so many people that I know sit around and be like, I wonder what I can do. I'd like to help somebody. I'm telling you, we come on here every week and tell you about an organization or somebody that you can assist. I mean, even if you're just making phone calls for them, if you can do that while you're at home and your kids are in their Zoom classes, you know,
Exactly.
I'm just trying to help somebody.
I think, and it comes from the word that you said earlier, collaboration. I think the more and more we come together, we can maximize and do the food distributions in a large capacity. But the more that we come together and collaborate and communicate, we can go after some of these larger contracts and bring the food directly to our community instead of through a third party.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. It's gonna happen. I
We got to
see.
work together. It, it is happening because you're making connections with your show. You're doing that.
Come on.
I mean, you're
Making
that form.
with
You're
ABC2, with Chester Williams, with these ideas, with these concepts. Come on.
okay. I mean, put it back when like-minded people, and I have to thank God for that. God connects the right people together, and when you're
Yeah,
connected, the impossible becomes possible.
I'm a believer. I'm telling you. And I've said it on the show before. I used to be a lone island. I was like, I can do this by myself. I can get it done because, I don't want the drama. I don't want it. But honey, I cannot. I need some help. I needed help doing
Okay.
things for this show. Alan is right there behind the scenes making all this happen and bringing the promos on and the flyers. I can't do all that. You need help. And it's okay to ask for help, but use wisdom even in obtaining help. Okay? Test the
Say that.
people.
Say it for the back. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Test the people out. Okay? Use some wisdom. But there is help available because there are people with hearts for the people that are hurting. There are people who have the wisdom to be able to counsel the people that are going through domestic violence, breast cancer. There's so much that we have to fight against from the world. Let's not fight against one another. Let's
Exactly.
come together and make it happen and bring all that drama down because the more love we spread, the less hate is going to be evident.
Yes. Feel about to bust into a praise break.
Well, Chester, before we go, because I don't want to be able to miss that, how can people follow you? Give them your website, and how can they collaborate? What does ABC2 need, or where do you want to go next? Shout out some cities and states.
Right. So just everything we have is on our website, www.abc-the2.net. Go to that website and you will see all information there about what we're doing, what's coming up, what's going. We even have a calendar that has all our meetings up there. If you want to connect and be engaged in our meetings, you are welcome. It's open to the public. If you want to come to the farm and do some gardening, or you want to do some activities, or come watch a film with us, or just come walk at the farm with us and do some Zumba, hey, we there. We'll kick it with you. Um, Also, download our app. We got it on Android and we got it on Apple. So go search for ABC2NC. ABC, the number 2NC. And you're going to love the app. It's absolutely phenomenal. It gives you a lot of insight into our organization. And to go back to what we need, is more volunteers, more people connecting across this country, across this world. Detroit, I see you.
Come on.
I see you. LA, I see you. New Orleans, I see you. We want to be with you. We want to connect across just to bring us together to make positive change. The season is right.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of turmoil and chaos out there. This is the time. The time is now. Not just because Chester said it's because we need it. And we have everything we need. And definitely what we need is where you are. And what you need, we have here. And we bring that thing together. Guess what? We're creating the change that we need that's going to benefit all of us. We're going to eat together. We're going to grow together. We're going to march together. We're going to do all of these things together because we're going to do it in love. And we're all going to respect each other while we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What he said. And absolutely, I just touch again on the thing that happened at the Capitol. Although it seemed like there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of more people that were hurting behind what they saw because they didn't understand it. So don't just look at that. Know that there are people out there with good hearts that want to serve all communities, all people. But sometimes they just don't know what the steps to take. They don't know what to do. They don't know who to connect with. Well, now I've told you today you can connect with ABC2 Inc. because they're doing stuff. Connect with them. And I say again, I like to throw out because now we're virtual. You can be in LA, you can be in Detroit, you can be in Seattle, and you can connect because you can come through Zoom and have these board meetings and whatever you need to do. Come on.
Come on now.
God has provided a way. I know COVID came, but COVID came to help us out. Now, COVID has brought destruction to some people, and absolutely our hearts and prayers go out to them. I never want to, act like we don't recognize that, but it's also empowered us to be able to realize we have to do something different. And I like these community gardens because we are as a country trying to do better health wise, because we know that there's a lot now that we've got to do, and so we've got to be in a better shape and in better condition to be able to do that. And so I love these
because we're being disrespectful.
Say that again, Chester.
I said we're being disrespectful to God. He gave us the earth to be environmental stewards. We're supposed to take care of it.
That's it. Well, we're going to take one more short break. And then, Chester, when we come back, I just want you to leave some last words of encouragement to anybody that might be watching, maybe anybody who's thought about starting an organization. What steps maybe they should take to get started, or a phone call, just whatever you think will impact the people and leave empowered to go out and get it done. We will be right back.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Allie and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, everybody. So you heard it live. This is my show, Making Connections. This is a show I do on Saturdays and Mondays, but I also have a network. I invested because I know that there were more people like me who didn't know what platform to take, didn't know how to get their message out there. I have a platform. If you want to be able to come on the air and share your message weekly, reach out to me. You heard the contact information. You can call or text 980-386. Wait a minute, 980-389-6826. And reach out because there's so much need out there. Don't be ashamed. Don't worry about it. I will help you through the process. And then we have people like James Thompson that you saw on the promo. He doesn't do the show on a weekly basis, but he's an expert once a month. He comes on every fourth Monday. If that's what you want to do, we have options, is what I'm saying. But we need to hear your voice. We need to know about. I didn't know about ABC2. Now I know. Now I can tell other people. Come on. So we're here for you. Again, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can call us, text us, inbox us, and know that we're here for you. This is Making Connections. I am your girl, Allie. And this is Chester Williams, CEO and founder of ABC2 Inc. And before we leave, he's just going to give us his last words of encouragement or wisdom. Thank you, Chester, for being with us. Thank you for sharing with us about what ABC2 is doing because I did not know. This is awesome.
Hey, know better when we do better when we know better, right?
Right?
Cool, Vince. But I want to thank you for this opportunity and to have this space just to talk with the family, because that's what we are. We're all family, and to be able to share about ABC2, this twinkle in the eye, this star in Halifax County, that's out to share and touch everybody in the world. But I want to speak to each of you today because we are going through a pandemic and these are hard times. But this is also a time to find yourself and be grounded in your truth and your purpose. So if you don't know what that purpose is, I challenge you to tap in and find that purpose and make it come alive. If you need help with that, you got Allie here. She said, come on her show. Reach out to me and I will support you in making that happen. Because everything in life depends on our happiness and that we're happy with ourselves. So I want to help you to improve that in this season, in this 2021 season, to find your purpose and live happily and live in your honest and your truth and be authentically this year. And if ABC2 can be a support of any of you, please come out to you. Because anything that we do in ABC2, we say we do it in the spirit of community. And we also value honesty and truth. So I want us to declare that today that we're going to walk in that. It's all about making a statement and then making that first step. It's not hard because each of us, we have a purpose. We have a purpose. And many of us know that purpose and sometimes just choose to ignore it because of what society says. You have a purpose and you have a place. And we are here to encourage you to walk in that space boldly. So that's my encouragement to everyone today. Don't be afraid to reach out and connect for help. We're here. Yeah. We all are in this journey together. We just may be at different places, but that's because we're supposed to reach back and also look forward. So that we're supposed to constantly be doing that when people tell us don't. When I rise, we all rise together because when I succeed, you succeed too. Because it's all about us linking together. And when you succeed, that's success for us also. We have to learn how to celebrate and uplift each other. Got to stop tearing each other apart.
Yes.
We got to stop this in our communities and understand that anyone's success is our success too. And we got to start speaking our truths.
Boldly, unapologetically, purpose, collaboration. Y'all hear them words? Write them words down and read over them, because you can do it. And again, when he's talking about celebrating somebody else, because when you plant that seed of praise for somebody else, trust and believe it's water in your garden too. Trust and believe. The first show I did wasn't like this, but we have developed. And so you can develop to be encouraged. Again, one of the things about his program is he's letting these youth know that they are important. And when they go out in the community and they build these community gardens, when they do these things about healthy living, they're letting other people know that they're important. So see, that's what it's all about. You got to know you're important. You got to know your worth. You got to know that your voice is imperative in this season. Okay. So again, thank you, Chester. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And maybe we can do another show with some of the world changers. That's what they're called, right? Yes. So we can do a show with some of the world changers. That would be awesome. And so you guys, our time has come to an end. I hate this, but hey, please share this video. And when I ask people to share a video, it's not just about making connections, but it's about my guests that's on here. It's about what they're doing in the community. It's about the impact they're making. Share this video to help somebody else. I am your girl, Allie. I'll see you guys on Monday. And as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day. Bye, Chester.
Thank you all. Take care. Be blessed.